All right, we're going to get underway in just a little bit. Um, Typical of how we get started here, and we try to start right at 5 o'clock, just so that you know. And so for future episodes of Kicking School with me, Coach Farley, just want to let you know that that's how it works. So we're on Sunday nights, Central Standard Time. It is 4:59. My father was a college coach, and the way that he kept the players on time, and I'm famous for procrastinating, and I did not want to be that guy. So one of the tricks that he often used was that I'm not using here today. I said 5 o'clock, but he would have put it at, we're going to start at 4:29, or he would have said 5:01, because that's a real time. Sometimes you say 5 o'clock and people think, well, kind of 5 o'clock. And he didn't want to have that. He wanted to get started right now. So it's 5 right now, and so we're going to get underway. Just in your own life, if you want to use that, you're going to have coffee with somebody, say, hey, we're going to meet at 7:26. They'll show up at 7:26. And also, just so that you know, for procrastinators out there, basically, you end up being selfish. That's as simple as I can say it. And I've been that guy way too many times. They actually went to a thing. A lot of people would say, we're on Farley time now. You don't want to be at Farley time. We're always 5 minutes late. If you had that coffee meeting with someone and they expected to see you at 7:30 in the morning, and you show up at 7:35, at what point do you think they start getting nervous or start getting disappointed or start wondering whether they got mixed up on the date? It takes about a minute. So make sure that at the very least, text them, call them, and say, hey, I'm running 5 minutes behind, so they can do something else. Maybe they check their stocks or check the latest game score or something. That's only fair to them, and come in. And if you're the late guy, then you pick up the tab. How about that? All right, so here we are. We're at 5:01, and off we go. You'll also notice I'm sporting a new scar on my big fat nose, and that is because of, let's see here. I'm going to share my screen. And so I think I'm now sharing my full screen. Hopefully that's true. Just bring me up a little bit more. Kill that. Farley family has a new puppy. This is Piper. This is when we first got Piper. She's now about 4 months old. She's a Bernedoodle, but she's got puppy teeth and they're very sharp. And so we were, Coach Farley was playing around, and serves me right. She kind of nipped me and then saying, no, I got blood on the sheets. So thanks a lot, Piper. So anyway, so there's that. Hey, I wanted to bring you up to date. Not much time left on our leaderboard on Kicking School. And so for those who are there, we got 28 members. I have not done a great job about recruiting new people, but remember, we are going to give out this time to our 30-day winner, our September winner, which is not decided yet. So you've still got, it's the 29th, I believe, today. So you got one more day. But this is what you're going to get. This is a team issue, big game footballs. They've kind of started to really get popular more in the South, I think. It's leather football. It's great football. It's about $150 football. I've got a bunch of these, but our winner, and that's under the 30-day. Of course, it's got the insignia and the whole bit, but it's a good kicking ball, decent passing ball. So Dominic Knott is our leader, 30-day leader. He's got at plus 20 that I see. Matt Schrader's at 14, and then Todd, Nathan, and Noah and others are trailing behind. So the way that you get to be the top of the leaderboard in that 30-day period is to simply be a good community member, make good posts, make good comments, like other people's posts if you like it. Don't like it if you don't. The neat thing about the gamification of this for an administrator in building this community is that's different about Facebook groups and all the rest of them. One of the reasons that I'm using Skool, and I really, really am getting to like it a lot. I think it's going to be a really good choice for us as we grow and grow and grow. Because the neat thing is, if you're a troll on a Facebook group, you can hide in there and then you make really sarcastic or crappy comments. nothing that supports the group, nothing that helps the group. I don't mind somebody saying something controversial. I don't mind somebody disagreeing with something, but being a troll and just saying it to be mean, just saying it to not be helpful. If somebody's kicking and we're trying to discuss something and help them improve, then that's what I want to do. If you've got questions or somebody asks what you think is a dumb question, and sometimes there are dumb questions, but you know what? If you don't know the answer, then ask it. And I will always try to do my best to give you an honest answer. You know, it's people watch the NFL, and I gotta believe there's a ton of people out there when you know, Tom Brady now is going to start talking about a nickel defense.
I hear this nickel defense all the time, but I'm not real sure what it is. What's nickel defense? He gets real quiet. He says, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, I'm serious." He says, "Well, they basically take out a linebacker and bring in a DB." I said, "That's it?"
It's like, well, what is a nickel defense? Well, that's 5 D-backs in the on defense, and so it's that kind of stuff that sometimes we miss. So anyway, there's like a day left, and right now Dominic looks like he's going to win the football, and then we start anew. So the neat thing, if you go in here, so the leaderboard of all time, Dominic's got 21. Here are the last 30 days, 20. So he was on more recently. Nathan was our first winner in the first month in August, where we had very few people. But Matt Schrader here in the last 7 days has actually contributed more than Dominic and others. And so I appreciate anybody who is brave enough to put a post in there. It doesn't take much bravery. If you say something that's wrong or that I don't appreciate, or you're trying to sell me insurance,
I'm going door to door to make you this incredible offer. I'm sure you're wondering by now just what it is
Salesman!
I don't want you to sell me insurance. I don't want you to sell anybody else insurance unless they chat you and say, "Hey, sell me some insurance." I want this to be about kicking, punting, coaching, parenting, and how to improve. That's what we're all about. So anyway, just letting you know that that's what's going on. And just another thing quickly about Skool. So hopefully by this time next month, we will have a lot more members. I'm going to be investing some money and putting out some ads to try to get more people. And I'm also going to be pushing, what you might have noticed is actually, if I go back to the community page here, you'll see that I made kicking and punting one group. I made coaching and parents one group, recruiting and NIL another group, and college and pro another group. So that's all the groups, and then the general sort of everything kind of. So there's only 5 real tabs here. So if you're wanting to find specific information, you're a parent of a kicker and you want to find out what the latest is, then you'd click on this. And here I recently put in a post in there about, you know, why do I think that I'm worthy of saying I'm America's high school kicking coach? The short answer on that is, in my real life, I am a branding guy. I run a marketing company for a lot of small to mid-sized businesses. It's always good to try to brand yourself as something. It's something that either you think is aspirational, that you want to be, or something that you actually think that you are. And in my case, I kind of believe I'm both of those things. I want to be known as that, and it's where I've put most of my time and effort, is improving youth football players and high school football players to be the guy on Friday night to kick. Most of the other camps really like to focus in on trying to get you to college, trying to get you a scholarship, trying to get you to the pros, all that stuff. That's neat and that's good. And I don't have any problem with them trying to do it. However, I think what I'm pushing is a hell of a lot more practical. The odds of you becoming the great college player and ultimately a pro player, boy, this is tough. A quick word here today. What is his name? Narveson from the Packers. I had a little link here. Brayden Narveson, you know, is the new kicker for the Packers. And here I'm in Wisconsin. And the Packers just lost to the Vikings 31-29. And Brayden missed 2 field goals.
But as the game progresses, I anticipate Jordan Love becoming more accurate and more confident.
37-yard field goal is away. Oh, it hits the upright. No good. We'll try a 49-yard field goal. There is wind, and the kick is no good. He's missed 2. He's missed from 37 and misses that one from 49.
Brayden's a great kicker. He is a really good kicker. I am fearful for Brayden's job. I don't think Brayden's going to be with the Packers. I'll guarantee you this much. Tomorrow in Green Bay, Brayden's going to be there, and so are probably about 4 other journeyman kickers. And I wouldn't be surprised if Crosby wasn't in that mix. He missed 2 field goals. He makes one of those field goals, they win the game. The Packers didn't lose because of Narveson, but it changed the complexion of the game. Had he made the 2 field goals early on, makeable kicks, Lambeau is a tough place to kick in. I have kicked in it, and I have missed in it too. The field is weird, hybrid grass and turf. The wind swirls. You'll see the flags blowing one way, but it's not necessarily how it is on the field. So it's tough to be that guy, and your nerves start to get the best of you. There's 80,000 people watching, and there's a lot of pressure on the line. And he had 2 kicks that he pushed to the right. That's better than a shank hook to the left, which would say it was all nerves. But I know what he's capable of. He made the PATs. They were right down the chute, but the field goals were long enough. It's basically you get a 40-plus field goal for a pro. They're expecting 9 out of 10 for sure from that range. It is a kicking zone kind of kick for a pro kicker. But a lot can go wrong in between that distance, and a lot of these guys, I think Brayden would have loved to have like a 23-yard chip shot to get just his confidence built up to say, yep, I'm the guy and I can do this and I can do it all day. So we'll see what happens and what transpires for him. All right. So I wanted to go back real quickly onto Skool. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to do there. Recruiting NIL. So I've changed some things. I've added some stuff that are frankly, if you go to my website, KICKERSCAMP.com, there is a learn section on there. It's basically a blog section. And I've got here most recently Kevin Stemke Award, some of my campers who are up for this award. It's the biggest kicking award in Wisconsin for seniors. You can see I actually put the 2 weeks ago, the first episode of Skool in there. But if you go back through all this time, there's at least a post, if not 2 or 3 or 4, for all the way back to April of 2022 in all these different categories. So if you want to learn more about just about anything, my camps included, go in there. That's free to use and great. So I'm going to be sending a bunch of new people to this About Us page where I introduce, Skool and what this is about. And I'll be making some changes on my page as I learn a little bit more as to how to attract more attention and get more people in here. So you'll also know that in the classroom, just very quickly, and then I'll get on to our lesson here today. So if I click on this, hopefully I can do. So here was that watch this first for anybody who's brand new. Here's that first episode. And if you didn't see it, please go back through it. This is a 30-minute talk with lots of really good info. There are 2 courses in here that if you're a level 1 guy, remember, so up here in my profile, I've got a profile even within my own group. I've got to get likes from you guys to advance, although as an admin, I can go anywhere and be anywhere. So I need 65 more points to be level 5. All right. So if I go back to my leaderboard, and I put sort of names to them that are kind of fun. So you start out as a JV team. Who wants to be on the JV team? You want to get to the varsity team. To do that, I think you only need to get 5 likes. From there, I think you need like 10 or 15 likes. At each level, you got to get more likes to get to the next level. So it becomes harder. But the good news is, again, we're fostering this community and trying to get people to do it. So once you're a varsity kicker, that's great. You're level 2. And back to classroom, then level 2 courses, that's like here, unlocks at level 2. Learn to kick from high school campers and training young kickers and straight on kickers. Those are all 3 level 2 courses that will unlock for free. that you can take a peek at once you become level 2. So get 5 likes, get involved in the community, and you can start to see this. If I see that you're going to stay on the JV team too long, I'll cut you from the team. I'm going to cut, and I've cut a few people already from the group that they're just, I can see they're not going to add anything to the group. And just as if we were a football team, if you're not going to be helpful, if at the very least, if you're not going to be the water boy, if you're not going to shag the balls, if you're not going to hold the tackling dummies, then what are you doing out there? I don't want you out there. So this is the way Skool's going to work. And but everybody is welcome. So the young guys, and the moms, and the dads, and the coaches, and the players, and college guys. And so we've got a little bit of everybody right now. And so I'm excited about that. So part of the reason when I change the groupings, I've got more and more coaches, high school coaches, youth coaches, coaching 5th graders, 6th graders. And I'm going to show a couple of little clips here today that help some of those folks out. I want to teach you the skills. And frankly, one of the hard things that ends up happening, you as a kicker or punter, talking to the moms and dads of the varsity kicker, or you're the varsity kicker, say in high school, most high school coaches do not know the kicking game, not much at all. Most of the high school coaches were the running back or the quarterback or a linebacker on the team. They weren't the kicker and the punter. And so they relegate that job to a brand new coach, and well, just make sure that we get 11 guys in the field and they, stay in their lanes on kickoff. And that's about as much coaching as they get oftentimes. So most of these coaches don't know it. So if you're a young high school coach, I've spent 16 years as an assistant coach in high school, and played college, pro, all that kind of stuff. I was a grad assistant coach in college. So I know coaching, I know kicking, I know the special teams, I know all of it, snapping and punt returning and play design, tackling and what have you. So I want to give you access to that information as well. So again, one last thing back on the leaderboard. So once you're there, level 3, you're a varsity starter. Level 4, you're a Friday night kicker. So hooray, I'm a Friday night kicker. And if I get 65 more points, you can see not 5 points up here. If I get 65 more points, I become all conference. Woohoo! And then all state, all American, all pro, Hall of Fame. I don't know that I'll even make those. You got to get a lot of likes, or we got to be here for a long time. But hopefully more and more of that happens. And if I find that you're really that dedicated of a community member, then I'm going to want to make you an editor or a monitor or an admin, so that you can help me out as, what's going to happen if we have 1,000 kids on here. I want people to be able to get answers. And so one of the neat things I'll just pick on, not really picking on, Matt Schrader is a dad who was a college kicker. And Matt's son, Ryan, was a kicker for me when I coached at Cedarburg High School. And now he's a kicker punter at Drake in Iowa, and is a fine left-footed kicker and punter. And if you go to my site, I believe he is under my lessons tab. This is Ryan right here. So here's the lefty, and here he is booming the ball. So so Matt has been good about already gotten involved and gotten some likes because he's made some posts in here, some really good posts. I love that. And so the more people that I can get adding some commentary of their own end of it. Let's see if I can get things to move here. So here, yeah. So Matt recently, and if you hadn't seen this, this happened last week. A kid from Mississippi. Check this out. We'll play this. Hopefully this will play.
All right. This is no hyperbole. This guy may be the best high school kicker I've ever seen. Here's the detail. His name is Evan Noel. Yes, he is sitting across the midfield line, a 61 yards away from the uprights, and he demolishes this ball. Guys, 61-yard field goals, okay? And he clears it by at least 4 yards, but that's not the most impressive thing, believe it or not. To me, it's as a high schooler, he does this not even using a block, not a 2-inch, 1-inch, not even a 1/2 inch. So that means his leg is already NFL certified, definitely college certified, and he is just coming out of high school. Oh my God. They're going to have to nerf kickers again, aren't they?
So Evan boots that record, and just a real quickly. So yep, he's doing pro style. Doesn't have a pro post, but looks like it would have been good on a pro post. What I don't like about this, and what I don't like about this particular holder on this, is instead of lining right up at the corner of this hash mark so I can get a perfect hold. Now he is on turf, and so that helps high school kickers a lot, but I absolutely want my high school holders and kickers to use a tee. I would have said to Evan, then use a 1/2 inch tee. If he's comfortable going down that low to the ground, fantastic. But so he may be able to do it, but I don't trust this holder to give him a perfect spot. This is a 16, 17-year-old kid. I don't know that he's going to do it. He does a fine job holding for this. But, you know, and so in the middle of the field, you don't necessarily get this great shot. He has to have a perfect hit, perfect, you know, snap and spot and the whole bit. So, you know, this holder doesn't realize that. He could have moved the extra 4 inches and put this thing right on the corner so he's got a better target. So if he had a little block with that dot on it, now Evan's going to feel more comfortable that the ball's going to get there. But pretty neat, 61-yarder. Wow, what a cannon. And so he's committed apparently to Arkansas, so we'll see how his career goes from there. All right, so let's move on from that. So let's jump over to kind of our I did actually I wanted to jump over to I made a post about let's just do this. Kill that. I had made a post earlier, I think on kicking and maybe it's pro. Is Brandon Aubrey now the NFL's best kicker, right? Justin Tucker always gets the headlines, and Justin's missed a few this year, which is very surprising. And Brandon actually missed first one last week, but he's just unbelievable. And so here was this last Thursday.
60-yarder. Aubrey's kick. Yep. Does it again.
Right. Clears it
from downtown Jersey.
You know, clears it pretty good.
Number 0 on the.
So Brandon is really a phenomenal athlete. And so I've been in the process of making a video about him and his style. And so I wanted to share part of that with you. This will be available for everybody to see on my YouTube channel. And it'll be part of this episode that we're filming. So, so what I'm going to show you here is just I believe, okay, so this was the kick that made him famous here this year, where he does a 66-yarder. Let's take a quick look at that.
So a 66-yard field goal. He drills it, doesn't have enough. Oh, 66 for Aubrey.
So actually one thing about that you'll notice, and about the Mississippi kicker, this is one of the things I say. So when you go out and try to hit bombs and see how far you can kick it, and you should do that from time to time, but it should not be in every practice kind of thing. What's good to know is how far your range actually is. What's amazing with Brandon is his swing seems so smooth. It seems so effortless. And that's a ball going 66. If you remember, Justin did it, and he did these extra shuffle steps to make it kind of a baby kickoff, and it hit the middle of the crossbar and bounced in from 66, right? And so here Brandon clears, it could have gone 68, maybe somewhere in there. Just amazing. But what I want to say is Justin did it at the very end of the game. That one we just saw with Brandon happened at halftime. And so the same thing's going to be true of you in high school. If you're going to get your big chance to kick, you know, your school's longest record, Cedarburg, the record is 51 yards by one of my kickers from a good decade ago, Jason Siki, who made a 51-yard field goal just before the half of a game against Port Washington. He had a great leg, and he could go probably about to 55 was his max. And back to Matt Schrader and his son, Ryan, who had a great leg too. he always wanted to have the chance. He wanted to set the record, and he had enough leg to go to probably at that time 53, maybe 55. He had a little bit of wind. But every time he had the chance, that it was sort of setting up that way, and I would talk to him on the sidelines, hey, do you see what's happening? And he'd say, yep, I'm ready. And which is what I wanted to hear from him. Something would happen, a penalty. We'd get the first down, we'd get a touchdown, the quarterback would throw an interception. And so it just didn't happen. So those are just very unique chances to get that kick. All right, so let's go here with Brandon. And Brandon, real quickly, what's unusual about him is he was he was All-American soccer player in college. And so I've got footage of him there. So he never played a lick in high school or college as a kicker. I believe he was married, and his wife said she saw something, probably, this is Greg Zuerlein. He was a all-pro college or all-pro football player for the Cowboys. Take a look at what happened, if you remember, a few years ago.
Going 1 for 6 on extra points in the playoffs. An extra point. He's missed 3 tonight, 4 in a row. And he has done it again.
Greg Zuerlein got the yips, and not a good time to get it. And missed and missed and missed and missed. And that's where, so here's Narveson now misses these two. It is a tough funk to get out of. And Greg Zuerlein was no longer the kicker after that. This is a guy that went to the Pro Bowl. So here's Brandon. And before Brandon ever got signed by a team, this actually, the logo, is a little footage that came from John Carney, former all-pro kicker for the Saints, who's got his own kicking school. So real quickly, here's Ben before he's a pro, and he's working on trying to become pro kicker. And so you can see just early on his form, he's the guy that went to the USFL. He got signed there. He had a great career for a season for the USFL. But, oh, check this out. So here's Brandon's. So finally, he makes the Cowboys football team last year as a rookie, like a 28-year-old rookie. And this is field goal number 1 for him last year. Oops. And so he yanks it from close up. And then from there on out, he proceeds to make 35 field goals in a row.
58-yarder against the Rams. Aubrey swings it from 60, long enough.
And when he solidified his kicking ability was this game against the Eagles in December, late last season. He's getting all these long bombs just over and over and over again. Here's a chip shot at 45.
Aubrey from 50.
Just amazing, right? So smooth. So anyway, and if we could only do that. So you can get in there and take a look at it. So what I want to do is, since last week I had done Justin Tucker, and so very quickly, here's Justin's slow motion swing. I want to refresh you that Justin really attacks hard. Look at the angle and the plant, but he does kind of a little baby crunch, but he ends up straight and he holds his shoulders, and, just a great kicker. So here's what I've done that I want us to go through on this. So here I've slowed it down, and I wanted to put up how this attack position. So take a look at this for a second. I'm just going to hold it right here. So, and I don't know if I can zoom this a little bit more. So what you're seeing here is Justin, as he's come into this spot, right? So here's his step. Here's that plant. What an angle. Look at that flexibility. Look at that leg whip. And now at the point of impact, boom, right here. So what I did is, so the purple is his head. He's looking down at the ball in the spot. But you can see his back is bent, but his lead front leg, let me just get in here, right here, is almost perfectly straight. This ankle is locked out. This plant is almost perfectly straight. He is attacking and hitting against a really firm leg, and he's still got this leg whip. And look at his shoulders have not completely turned yet, so he's got all this power to come through. All right, so we let him swing. And he comes through that. About to happen. Here we go. And boom, great ball flight. But you can see how bent over he is as I go just tick at a time. Look at this crunch, right? Instead of his back being straighter here, a little taller, a little more natural, this is old school. Put your head down on the ball and keep it there. Who am I to pick on Justin Tucker, right? But if Justin laid back a little bit further, I think he's got more distance. This is a crunch. Okay. So now we get to, and so here's a friend of mine, Gary Zahner, who's probably the #1 kicking. He's the NFL's kicking coach. So if I'm the high school guy, John wants to be the college guy, and or Jamie Cole probably wants to be college man #1, and Gary is pro man #1, right? So, so here's Brandon at Gary's place, and so this is slowed down. So look at how smooth this is, and this is before him being a Cowboy pro, right? So let's go and stop this. So I'm just gonna, so a little jab step, less of a drive step than Justin, but sets up for a great plant. Look how far his heel is in front of the line there. That's kind of interesting. Not everybody's like that. And here he is at lockout, all right? And look at how square he is. All right, so what I'm going to show you is, let's let that travel. His shoulders stay square, but boy, he sure comes over to the left. I think that's the corner kick soccer coming into play, right? So now I'm going to freeze this. Look at Brandon, and his head is down on the ball, but you'll notice his shoulder position, his arm position, his back position, right? The legs are roughly the same. I've got basically square, lockout. Yep, that's all great. Good hit. Eye on the target. That's right. My rugby bricks guy calls this rodeo arm. I think that's a good way to say it. You know, this is a balance, and your arms need to play a part. And this arm is going to come across as you hit against this hard, firm leg. This arm is going to come across. When we saw Justin here, you don't even see that arm. You see my green spot. It's out in front of him already. Okay. So everybody's got a little different style. It's okay. All right. So he's got his eye on this. And now if I let this play through, you're going to see that come through. Boy, what a nice flight. But I would love to see him follow a little bit more further straight through. All right. So now let's take a look at this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go between he and, let's see if I can do this here. So if I go between Brandon and Justin right here, okay, so here's Justin. So keep your eye on, like right now, take a look at the red, back crunch to hips to straighter. So when I talk about here's the crunch, are you a cruncher? If you're a cruncher, it's not that you can't kick it well, but I think you're losing some of that power in your hips. I think part of the reason that Justin has to take the extra jab to get the ball 66 yards and Brandon does not is this. His back and his hip has already come through. Their legs are roughly the same, but here's the amazing thing of Justin. His angle is steeper, isn't it? Look at the orange. Look at his legs. So Justin comes in at such a severe angle. His heel is a little behind the ball, where Brandon's is slightly in front of the ball or close to it, right? And now as he swings through, we're going to see him and finish this off, right? So boom, and now swing through. Here's the full thing. Oh, and I wanted to show you one more thing. So here's what Brandon does, right? So again, emulate what these guys are doing. So he's going to mark with his toe from where the holder's putting his finger, and in your case, from the block, if you're a high schooler, right? So this is how he takes his steps, and he's comfortable. There's no set amount. Now he's going to take his two. He's going to get to a perfect spot, right? He's going to get himself ready. Likes to loosen up his hips. That's fine, right? And so now, and so when you're here, right? I would ask Here he does this. Let's go back on this. When he aligns it, he's going to take a look. There he goes. All right. Yep. I see it. What am I aiming at? Well, he doesn't really have, you want to look through the target, look through the goalposts, and, there's nothing there. Well, but maybe what he sees is this, certainly this black area here. Maybe there's a thing on that brick wall in the back. He's looking to hit it through, because if he can hit that spot, then this kick is good. Now he steps, does his alignment. Boom. So smooth. Wow. Just sort of amazing. Just sort of amazing. Okay. So that one's all right. So real quickly, I'm going to jump over. So once again, my main man, Dominic, sent me a little bit of film. If you recall, Dominic Knott was a all-conference high school kicker at GET last year in Wisconsin, and is now trying to earn the job as a kicker punter at Carthage College here in Wisconsin. And so he recently sent me some film. And you can do that. You can upload film to the chat. You can put it right into a post. But sometimes he sent about 6 different files, and only like 3 of them came through that I could download. So that's what I've used here. But just real quickly, I haven't done anything really much with this, but this is kind of how I break things down. And if you did a one-on-one video call with me, I would be doing some of this stuff with you. If this was your huddle film, or have you go out into the field and teach you how to shoot a little bit of video. So Dominic is, we went through a little bit of what Dominic was doing on his kicking. And so here I'm so pleased to see that he is getting some chances on punt. So this must have been a scrimmage that Carthage had. So they're going to put the scrimmage team out here. This is Dominic here, standing 14 yards back in college. In high school, I'd have you at about anywhere from 12.5 to 13.5, because your snapper is normally not as good. Here, I would probably put Dominic's heels at 14, not at 14.25. But again, this is up to your coaching staff. Pro guys are typically at 15, because these guys bring it, and maybe you've got a pro snapper, but you don't want to get too deep. There is a cone of protection from the wings through these personal protectors to you. And Dominic does something I'm going to pick on him. I love picking on Dominic. But let's take a quick look at this film that he sent me. All right. So here's Dominic. So this is a 30-yard punt in the air from the line of scrimmage, obviously. And so good athleticism. Let me real quick go back. So as a punter, you need to be ready to move. You got to beat the ball to the location. High snap, picks it up, gets back into his stance very quickly. That's all great. Hits this punt. It goes about 30 yards on the fly and then bounce forward. There is a return guy back here in a scrimmage. What I'd be yelling at this guy. Why aren't you fair catching this thing? Because as a punter, and just know this as a high schooler and college guy, to be an effective punter beyond the techniques that you need to learn. I want to help Dominic out just a little bit here, but he's going to feel bad. Oh, I only punted 30 yards. Well, in truth, he punted 40 yards in flight, because there's about 10 yards back of the snap, right, that he's got to clear. So if you're going to be a 40-yard punter, you got to hit it at least 50 yards to do that. So when the pro guys are hitting 40, 50-yard punt, he's hitting a 60, 70-yard punt, right, on some of this stuff. But because this guy doesn't fair catch it and we get the roll, so what did I say here? I said, hey, this is a 30-yard punt. So if he did fair catch it, Dominic's average would be 30 yards. But because it rolls another, 15, 16 yards, he's get 46 yards out of the punt if we just downed it or he didn't do anything with it. So to the punting team, Dominic's plus 46. In high school, as a high school coach, if you're a high school coach, I'm looking for a net 30 from my punt team. If we're on our own 30-yard line, then I need to make sure that the other team's going to start the field on their own 40. Give me the 20 up to the 50. Give me 10 more. Give me 30 yards. Give me pro 30 yards. We got a fair catch and we're done, or the ball landed and we downed it, or whatever. I want net 30. I don't want any returns for touchdowns. I don't want any big returns. That's why you do get, Dominic nails this thing. He hits it 55 yards. That guy's going to catch it, and now he's got a big return. What did it net us? That's what's important. So the pro guys are getting better and better. It used to be in my era, the Ray Guy kind of thing of just crank it. and try to get that 46, 48 yard average or whatever. And wouldn't that be neat? But wait a second, our net average all of a sudden was at 41 yards or 39 yards. You're not helping. And so now they're hitting knuckleballs and they're hitting spinners and they're hitting a lot of different kinds of kicks. And instead of worrying about the damn average, right, I've got pooch kicks. I was the first team all-conference punter as a sophomore in college because just the happenstance of it. I had a ton of punts and I punted it a long way for the most part. But in my junior and senior, I wasn't. I actually got better as a punter, but they didn't make me the first team guy. Why? Because my average wasn't greater. Well, we had a better team. We kept scoring and we would stall out sometimes on the other side of the 50 and we would pooch it. We had a great defense. And so I would punt like a 31-yard punt straight up in the air and lock them in inside the 20, inside the 10, inside the 5. You are a game changer if you can be that guy instead of, oh, I just hit this sucker and it rolled into the end zone. Oh, too bad. You just gave him a 20-yard return. So for Dominic here, this is an absolute plus, right? So as he does this, here's a little bit closer up. So Dominic moves swiftly to make this catch. As a punter, you got to be athletic. Makes the catch. Hey, it's not perfect anymore. Now I've got to get back into it, get this punt off, and off we go, call the position, middle, right, left, whatever. And so it hits, the guy doesn't do it, and we're down. All right. So here's another one. We're behind him. This is only going to go 28 yards in the air. Now, here's where I'm going to pick on Dominic, and I'm going to help him get better. So he hits a big, watermelon ball, kind of a big wobbler out there. It only goes 28 yards. But look at the roll on this sucker. What did I say? I go back here, and here's a plus 43. So again, who is this guy? What the heck? Come in here, make the catch. If it was too short, and this one might have been too short. And so as far as the stats are concerned, Dominic has had a tremendous game. He's averaging like 45, 46 yards a punt. And Dominic knows I didn't do that. These are two kind of crappy kicks for me. All right. Now, here's what I'm going to pick on Dominic for is this is not a bad snap. All right. Let me take this and stop it. Hello. All right. So Dominic isn't, so the snap is a little right. But understand the personal protectors, just stop it here. Hello. So his personal protectors are right here. They're looking for this A gap, B gap, C gap, and their eyes just keep moving this way. Dominic needs to stay in this cone of protection. But he catches this, and on the previous one, yep, the snap was over here, and he moved right and kicked it center. Look at what we do. Now look what Dominic does. Hey, wait a second. There's no reason for him to go. This is almost like a rugby style kick, but that's not even how he's kicking it. He's hitting this as a traditional punt. Why aren't we going square to the ball? Unless he is trying to do rugby. And if he's trying to do rugby, then what I don't like about this is why isn't he taking rugby and going right to right? And let's pin these guys down here. Why would I punt it straight down the field and give this return guy all 53 yards to return it? So I want him to catch it square, get square, and move. Or if we were at this point, I would have been tempted on the field. I don't know what their wind conditions are, but I would have been tempted. I want to punt left. I'm closer to left hash. Catch this ball, take my first step going this way to this guy, and punt this over on this third. Let's give him that 1/3 and my 10 guys to pin him in down here. But Dominic moves right outside of the cone of protection and now hits this wobbler. Now get ready, be in the play. What if the guy picks it up and comes? You got to be the guy that makes the tackle. But here the team comes down. This guy this would drive me insane as a coach. Really, we gave him 15 extra yards. And then this last one here, again, so this snapper has been high. That's the same ball. Let me just real quick go back out on that snapper. Why is he snapping this way? When you start to see this in your snapper and it's high, normally what it means is his back is too high. His arms will follow and he will shoot it higher. Okay, and so let's take a quick look, slow motion. Yeah, dang right. Take a look at this. So look at the snapper, and his first move here is, I'm going to get graphic here, parents. He needs to fart a strike. He needs to come right out of his butthole here and shoot it right to Dominic. But instead, he's going to dip his head down because it's a punt. He's got to snap at 14 yards. And so now he lifts his butt. And so now instead of farting it right to Dominic, he's going to come close to shooting it over his head. Boom, there's where it goes. No, keep your back down, snappers, and get a good snap. Okay. And the last thing here, we're going to close up pretty quickly here because I don't want to, I'm stealing some of your time. I hope I'm adding value. So here's one last thing. So again, Dominic, moving right. No, that's your traditional kick. That is not a rugby punt, right? I appreciate this is a good catch. If you catch it clean, punt it clean, right? Ooh, not a great drop. Let's go slow, slow. Coach Farley. All right, so what do I want Dominic to do? I want this catch, this ball to stay on a level plane. I want his steps to be forward here. I want him to lock out, and I want this beautiful little drop that he's going to hit right in here. So let's see what happens. So Dominic puts it on the plane. I'm just going one at a time here. So now, all right. So do you see that? And this is very slight, but instead of staying straight with this ball and keeping it down, lowering on the table at a low angle here, he's going to lift back up. He's actually going to lift up to drop it. And now the nose goes down. Now we hit it kind of with our toe and we don't get the hit that we're looking for. All right. So Dominic can do that to improve his game. The last thing I'm going to do here very quickly, and this is for parents, coaches, whatnot. One of my kickers, one of my great moms is Kathleen Shane, and her son, Oliver, is an 8th grader. And I had the privilege of having his teammates come out and work with his snapper, his holder, and Ollie here. So we're going to go with that real quickly. So whether you're an 8th grader, a high schooler, or college guys, this is all still good stuff. So here we're on a grass field. I've marched off 7 yards. Let's take a quick look and see what they're doing. So I got a nice wide stance. I want his butt down. I want his back a little straighter. He's going to do a 7-yard. Here we go. He makes the set. All right, got a low snap. But we get this thing through. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is, so snapper, again, keep your butt down, keep your back straight, reach these arms out, right? He's going to pronate his wrists. His wrists are going to snap out this way. Typically, if I take this ball, he's going to hold it like a pass, and then he's going to put his hand right in the middle behind, typically the swear finger right there in the middle. There's different things. Some pro guys have got like a letter C. It sort of looks like there. And so he's going to have it like this, and now he's going to shoot it through, and his hands are going to splay and go right through so that when he gets to his thighs, he's going to have this look. He's going to be looking down the barrel of this gun. And that's where he wants to be. It's thumbs down, pronate, thumbs down, right to the target, nice and low. I want this holder. So I want my holder, and I want my high school kicker especially to use a block. Hey, it's grass. A lot of you guys are playing on grass. I want this holder with his knee down because he's going to use it as a backstop. That's going to tell him when he catches this ball and a nice low target. This kid happens to be a baseball catcher, so that's great. His hand could be here. Lift his hand up. Get a nice hand for our snapper. He's looking through his legs. Doesn't have to have his head up. He's going to slip. Hello. He's going to snap this through. Right? So he calls the set. All right. So he does not get a good spiral, but it's on the ground. And what I've told them is Ollie knows that even on a one-step kick, if he has to shuffle, he can make about a 30-yard field goal with just one step. So I want all of our guys to know that the default in kicking is we're going to kick it. If this ball comes close to being there, you hold or put it on the tee. If it's completely blown, it's over your head, it's over off of his backside, and he can't get it down, now's the time to call fire. But otherwise, this thing's going to hit the ground. But if it was turf or on grass, it's still kind of bouncing straight. Don't panic. Soft hands, catch it, put it on the tee. Ollie will adjust, and we'll make the kick. And I'll be darned if he doesn't do exactly that, right? There we go. All right, and Ollie's through. Nice. And real quickly, let me jump to what do I want to show you? I want to show you real quickly. So here's me working with this holder. This is Spencer, my 7th grade holder. And so what I'm showing Spencer, right? Again, I'm showing him that I want my finger down on that tee. That's the signal for the kicker to go. When I have to go to catch the ball, that's the signal for the kicker to go. All right. So I put it on there. I look back to the kicker. I say, are you ready? Right. I want him a nice low target, hit that spot. And so here we go. And now, so if I'm here, when I go to pick up, right. So my elbow hits there. Oop, so I got to shift my weight to get where this can happen every time. Now notice I'm not even looking at anybody and I'm putting it on the tee because as soon as my elbow hits my back leg, that's where the ball goes. That's a pro hold. That's a college hold. That's a high school hold. That's an 8th grader's hold. Learn that. Teach your holders how to do that. Teach your snappers how to snap. All right, let's do one more thing and then we'll call it quits here for today since I've already gone a little over time. I don't like doing that, but since it's just me and you're going to get on episode 2, it's just bonus. All right. Here's one for the coaches. How do you actually coach? Because there's some other guys in the team that we're not talking about, which is how do we block for this? Ollie and his coaches were actually coming to me and it's like, how am I going to do a 1-step kick? Because I have no time to kick. And you might feel the same way. So what I'm doing here is I'm teaching how so here's my snapper. Don't think about Spencer. So this is Jonah as my snapper. And so typically I'm going to be the guard. And so I'm going to go foot to foot. I'm going to put my toe in the middle of his foot, the snapper's foot. And I would have the left guard do the same thing over here. And the right tackle would have his toe in the middle of my foot and the tight end, same thing. That way we get a little bow in the line without the ref getting wise to us. And that helps us. Again, we're creating a cone of protection. Then we got a couple of wings. All right. And so what's going to happen is when he snaps, so in high school and in youth program, you can't hit this guy. College, they can hit this guy. This guy has to get into the blocking scheme. Here he can look through his legs and stay with it and doesn't really have to protect himself. He just needs to make a good snap, but I need him to hold firm. I don't want the kind of snap where your feet jump backwards. I want your arms to move and pronate and zip it through your legs, right? What the guard and everybody else is going to do is everybody is responsible for head up and inside, not outside, head up and inside. So if this is us, this football is my defensive player, I'm worried about him and the guy to the inside. I'm not worried about the guy in the tee. That's the tackle's job. So as I play this, my first step is here behind him. The snapper snaps it, he does his thing, but everybody else does their job to step behind. He wants to stay square. Your shoulders are square, right? He's square up and looking to the inside. I don't want him to turn. So my snapper snaps, he stays square. Yep, I don't want that jump. I want him to push through with a great snap. So here we are, right? So here's my whole lineup, right? So here we are all together, and you can see his toe is on my half foot, mine's on his. He's going to go behind me, and now nobody's got a free shot to get through. And the wing over here, he's at a 45-degree angle. There'd be a tight end here. He's doing the same thing. I'm a little off camera here. Hey, cameraman, scooch over. He's going to step behind and protect this gap the most, right? There could be 18 guys out here. I don't care about them. I'm only cared about head up and in between. If this guy comes around to block it all the way, good luck. It's not going to happen. So if we put all that stuff together, let's see what we got. Here we are. So I've taken, this is another great little drill. So this is way outside where the hash mark would be. And one last little tip. Again, kicker's going to put this tee down. He's going to go 7 yards back behind. But I purposely pushed him way out in the hash. Sometimes you'll get your kickers putting a tee down where it seems better or straight for them in some way, but the line of scrimmage is here and everything is square. He's got to be 7 yards straight back. And now he takes his approach. So he does that. So he's got a narrower post here. So he's going to look cockeyed because his steps to the line of scrimmage, he's almost at the line of scrimmage, for crying out loud. And my holder's got to change a little bit. His knee is actually right behind this because he's got to allow for a little bit of space of this kick. But they can, and so his hand, instead of being in forward where the normal snapper would be, in this case, here he is. So he's got to adjust his position, but he can still use this knee and get a good hold. Let's see if they make it. Put it all together. Let's see if we get a good snap, good hold, good kick. Not bad. Hey, 3 points. I'll take it. There you go. So that's our lesson for today. That's the end of episode 2. It is 5:54. So I've got 24 minutes to be on. I'm going to get better at that. I'm going to get better at all this stuff. I want it to be quick and fast, and that you can do it, get to your dinner. And I hope like crazy, we're going to have more and more people on here. And if you've got some film and you want a free lesson out of the deal, here's your chance. It's the pay for stuff is no, you want to hire me to go through this stuff, fine tooth comb. I will help you, and I can help you from afar. I can help guys do that. Yep. It's better for me to be one-on-one with you right in on the field with you. But this ain't bad. And I can teach you, like some of the video that I'm showing, we can get into the thick of it, and I'm willing to edit this film and slow it down so you can see exactly what it is you're doing. And I've got other resources where I can tell you more about, what I can tell you more about what you're doing, how to do it, how to practice, so that hopefully you have a great week of kicking, how to work with your high school coach, your youth coach, things that you can say, parents, how you can be involved and not dominate, not make it uncomfortable for your kids, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of experience, and I'm hopeful as we get more and more people on here, we're going to have some other viewpoints, and it doesn't have to just be me. So again, I appreciate those of you who will view this episode. Again, we're going to grow the community. I'm going to grow it. I'm going to start advertising. I hope that you'll see by the next time, you'll see that I'm not a liar, and we will have more than 28 people. I hope I'll put a number out there. I'm going to say we're going to have double that. So that's what I want to see. And we'll and hopefully start doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. And that's how we'll go. So there you go. Have a great Sunday evening, wherever you are in the country or the world. We have some international people too. And if you are one of my world guys who's in Britain, it is coming up on, it's way past your bedtime. So get to bed. And I'll catch you later, but please jump on Skool every single day. There's something to learn. I try to post something every single day. So thanks for being a Kicking Skool member, and KICKERSCAMP.com is where you can find more great info. Good night, everybody.